Hi guys, this is Prasid Banerjee from Digit.in. We are reviewing today the Panasonic P81 smartphone, which is Panasonic's first octa-core device in the market. It's got the 1.7 GHz MediaTek MT6592 processor, the octa-core processor which you've also seen in things like Micromax Canvas Night and all. And it also has a 13 megapixel camera on the back along with a single LED flash, a 2 megapixel front camera, a 2300 mAh battery, a 5.5-inch IPS 720 pixel display, the Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean operating system. It is 7.9 mm thick and 148 grams is the weight for the device, and it is also a dual SIM device. We're going to talk about the build and design for the P81 now. It's a 5.5-inch screen, the IPS screen, and it's got very slim bezels. It's only 7.9 mm thick, and actually it's very light as well. It's 148 grams. It's quite light, and it's also got the leather finish on the back. It's similar to Samsung's Galaxy S5, the leather finish, although Samsung has that perforated back. This does not have a perforated back, but yeah, it is a leather finish which repels fingerprints. It's not easy to get fingerprints on this device. Scratches, you might get it from keys and everything in your pocket, but looking at the size of the phone, you won't be keeping this in your pocket much. And on the side, this device has on its left side, it has the two volume control keys. These are the two volume control keys. They're also made into the metal lining that this device has. It has got this metal lining that you can see all around. Pressing the buttons is quite easy. Apart from that, on the right side, it has got the power on, power off, or the lock unlock button. Again, built into the metal lining, same metal button. On the top, you have the 3.5 mm jack for your headphones, and on the bottom, you have the battery charging slot. It's got the 2MP front camera up top. The speaker is here. The build is pretty good, but it looks very blocky. It makes the phone look very blocky. It's like a big slab in your hand. And although you shouldn't fault Panasonic for this, because almost every manufacturer has at least one phone like this today. On the back, it has got the LED flash along with the 13 megapixel camera. This camera is bulging out a little bit. I don't know if it's visible. It's bulging out a little bit, which actually makes it a little vulnerable to scratches, getting scratches very easily. But overall, the build is not bad. It is big. It makes the phone look big in your hand. A little uncomfortable if you want to keep it in your pocket probably. But the build is definitely not something that you haven't seen before, and it's not bad. You can actually find many devices like this. So there's no point faulting Panasonic because of this. We're going to talk about the UI and performance of the Panasonic P81 smartphone now. So right at the offset, you see this the lock screen. This is the gesture play feature that Panasonic has introduced. If you look at it, it's got the U for unlock, S for SMS, and this squarish symbol for camera. What you have to do is you have to make that gesture in order to unlock the device. The problem with this is that when you're in a hurry, you might get the gesture wrong and it'll not open. If you do get the gesture right every time, good for you. But the problem is that you cannot press these buttons unless you've made the mistake. You have to make a mistake a few times, then you can press the buttons. It allows you to press the button. When you are in a hurry, it might be a problem for you. So this is a little problematic from Panasonic. Overall, also the UI, on the software front, Panasonic has got these block buttons, the squarish buttons on the device, which it is very close to a stock performance, but not very, good. It doesn't have lags or anything. It's not like the UI is lagging anything like that. But otherwise, they could have probably either kept it much more simpler or not done a little bit more. For example, here in the app drawer, you see on top here you usually find the Play Store button. Panasonic has removed the Play Store button and put a Play More option in place. So what this does is it gives you uh, options to change your wallpaper and theme and everything. It's got your wallpapers, lock screen wallpapers, fonts, and the more option lets you customize your theme much more. Here you see the inner cube effect. You can have different effects for animations in the home screen, your app list, ringtones. So this is the place to play more option that Panasonic is giving you. The UI is also very bloated. For an 8 GB device, you on the settings, if you go, if you check the storage option that you get, it's got 8 GB internal memory. It's allowing you to use 5.64 only. Now, out of this 5.64 GB, you will of course load games and everything on an, since it is an octa-core phone, you will put games and everything, so you might run out of space easily. But also to top that, Panasonic has given you micro SD along with that 32 GB micro SD. On the home screen, there's not much difference, very similar to stock Android performance. On the performance, this phone is actually its biggest advantage with this phone is that it gives you amazing performance. It's actually beaten other octa-core phones. The Micromax Canvas Night, for example, it's beaten that on our benchmark scores. Apart from that, if you look at gaming performance for this device, let's look at a game on the device. You will understand the performance better. So we are playing Dead Trigger 2 on this to check the performance of the phone. The performance wise, no lags in the game at all. Very good performance. And this is a resource intensive game, very resource intensive. In fact, in many smartphones, in about 5 minutes your phone will heat up, often even to a point where you can't continue playing. You have to give your phone rest. Now the problem with this phone again is, now when you shut the game down, you probably want to get to your multitasking screen that Android has. The multitasking screen is not found anywhere because you don't have any options here. So for multitasking, you have to press the home button twice and gives you the multitasking. Problem with this is that you don't know this. It will take you some time to get used to this user interface before you can actually get around the phone properly. But a very good thing about gaming on this phone, or even watching video or any resource intensive thing, is that it almost does not heat up at all, which is unheard of in smartphones today. Most because of these processors that we put into the phones, they heat up very easily. But the Panasonic P81 hasn't heated up at all. We have put it through almost an hour of gaming and we haven't found any heating whatsoever. And also on the battery front, this phone also gives you very good battery. To test the battery, what we usually do is we put it through an hour of full HD video playback with the Wi-Fi on and the volume full. With that, from 100% in an hour, the phone dropped only to 86%, which is very good because it tells you that it will run. That video would have run on the phone for 7 hours, which is really very good. And on the camera, let's go on to the camera. This got a 13 megapixel camera, and you might think that 13 megapixel is not enough, but Panasonic has done the required tweaks to give it a very good camera. The camera takes good shots. Let's look at this picture, for example. We have taken pictures on the device before, and I'll show you a few pictures on the phone that we have taken. this picture. The pictures are very sharp, very sharp. You can see each droplet is visible on this phone. It's a 13 megapixel camera. It's probably the best in its range because 13 megapixel cameras usually don't do this, and most other phones cannot give you such sharp pictures. But yes, on when you click a low light image with this, the low light images are not good. If you use flash, images are not good. So yeah, we would avoid giving you, this is a low light image, so we would avoid using the flash, and we would avoid this camera on low light. But otherwise, camera performance wise, it's very good. The UI is simple enough. The UI is not very difficult to master. On the other hand, it's also fast. It takes a picture very fast. So you press the button, picture done. So very good performance on the camera, not bad at all. And overall on performance, it's not just the synthetic benchmarks that's telling us that this is a good phone. Benchmarks are not the end all and be all of performance, but even after testing it, this phone really gives you good performance. The Panasonic P81, who is going to buy this, who should buy this? For that, we first have to tell you what the price of the phone is. It costs 20,000. 19,990 is the price Panasonic is giving you. It is available at 18,990 in retail. So overall, it's a very good phone, like we have told you till now. It's got good enough build and design, not impeccable build and design, but good enough. Good enough. The build and design is not very bad, and it's fingerprint intensive on the screen. The screen is very fingerprint intensive, but looking at the overall performance of the device, you can let go of the fingerprint intensiveness. If you want to buy this phone for gamers, it's a very good phone. If you really multitask on your phone, if you use resource intensive apps, then this is a very good phone to buy because it does not heat up at all under pressure and performs well enough. So you will buy this if you have that budget of 20,000 and you want a highly good performance from your phone, then this phone will make sense for you. But on the other hand, if you do not like these big screens, it's a 5.5-inch IPS screen. If you do not like these big screens and these big phones, then this is of course definitely not a phone for you. Also, if you're not going to be using your phone for a lot of things, if you're not going to use any resource intensive apps, if you're only going to play say games like Temple Run and Subway Surfer, then you shouldn't be spending on this. Definitely not spending on this. It is also a good choice for people who like cameras, who shoot a lot of pictures, because on ideal light conditions, your regular daylight conditions, this camera does take good pictures. So that is another range of customers that can go for this phone. Overall, it is not a bad device to buy at all for its price range. It is very good. Competitors for this phone would be things like Micromax, the Canvas Night, and Carbon Titanium Octane Plus. Although the Titanium Octane Plus is priced below this, and that is where Panasonic could probably have priced this device a little lower because it doesn't have the market recognition right now. Although Panasonic is a known name, but in the smartphone market, Panasonic doesn't yet have a stronghold, or for that matter, a hold right now. So maybe if it would have priced this phone around 15,000 or even 16,000, it would have been a very, very good phone to buy. But on 20,000, it's a little steep just because of the fact that Panasonic does not have the brand recognition right now. So Micromax Canvas Night will probably sell a little more, but this phone has beaten Micromax Canvas Night in many departments, except probably the software on the phone.